The Bechdel test is a tool used to evaluate the representation of women in films, TV shows, and other forms of media. It was introduced by cartoonist Alison Bechdel in her comic strip, Dykes to Watch Out For, in 1985. The test consists of 3 simple criteria that a work of fiction must meet to pass. There must be at least 2 named female characters. These characters must have a conversation with each other. The conversation must be about something other than a man. While the Bechdel test is straightforward, its purpose is to highlight and draw attention to the lack of meaningful representation of women in media. Passing the Bechdel test does not necessarily mean that a piece of media is feminist or has strong female characters. It simply points out whether the work acknowledges and includes women in a way that goes beyond their relationship to men. Key points about the Bechdel test and its significance. Simple benchmark. The Bechdel test serves as a simple and accessible benchmark to evaluate gender representation in media. Its simplicity makes it easy to apply to a wide range of films and TV shows. Limited scope. The test, while valuable, has limitations. Passing the Bechdel test does not guarantee that a work has deep or positive portrayals of female characters, nor does failing the test necessarily mean that a work is inherently problematic. Addressing gender imbalance. The Bechdel test draws attention to the historical gender imbalance in media, where female characters were often relegated to supporting roles and portrayed in relation to male characters rather than as individuals with their own agency and narratives. Conversation depth. Critics of the Bechdel test argue that the criteria don't necessarily measure the depth or quality of the conversation between female characters. The conversation could be brief or lack substance and still meet the criteria. Bechdel-Wallace test. The Bechdel test has sometimes been expanded or adapted. For example, some versions include criteria for characters of color, Bechdel-Wallace test, to address intersectionality and representation of women from diverse backgrounds. Use in film analysis. The Bechdel test has gained popularity in film criticism and analysis. It has sparked discussions about the portrayal of women in cinema and the need for more diverse and meaningful representations. Not a pass, fail judgment. The purpose of the Bechdel test is not to pass or fail individual works but to encourage awareness and discussion about gender representation in media. Many well-regarded films may fail the test, underscoring the pervasive nature of gender biases. Cultural impact. The Bechdel test has had a significant cultural impact, leading to increased awareness and scrutiny of gender representation in popular culture. It has influenced discussions about the need for more diverse and complex female characters. Intersectionality considerations. Some critics argue that the Bechdel test could be expanded to consider intersectionality by examining the representation of women from various racial, ethnic, sexual, and socioeconomic backgrounds. The Bechdel test has become a widely recognized and discussed tool for prompting conversations about gender representation in media. While it is not without its criticisms, it has played a role in advocating for more inclusive and diverse storytelling that reflects the complexity and richness of women's experiences.